The peace is easily preserved while things are at rest. What has not taken shape can be avoided before it starts. What is still brittle is easily broken. What is still minute is easily dispersed. Deal with the thing before it manifests itself. Maintain order before confusion prevails. A tree trunk as large as a man's outstretched arms grows from a tiny sprout. A terrace 9 stories high starts with a shovel of dirt. 1,000-mile journey starts beneath 1 foot. Leave it alone. Try to hold on to it and you've lost it. Because the wise person takes no action, he spoils nothing. Because he doesn't try to hold on, nothing slips away. A person's project is always spoiled when he's on the verge of success. Be as careful with the end as with the beginning, and nothing will be spoiled. Therefore, the wise person rejects desire, does not value precious things, learns what cannot be learned, retrieves what the 10,000 beings have lost in order to help men find their true natures. The strives not to intervene. He strives not to intervene.
Before we talk about this chapter, I want to tell you a little story that goes back to maybe the 1960s, maybe 1961 or 1962, when I was about 15 or 16 years old. I think this little tale relates a little bit to this chapter in a way. I had a dream. I think I can't remember how, maybe I was 15, maybe I was 16 years old. And I had this weird dream, and I usually don't remember my dreams. But this was a weird dream. It was about a phone call, and two people were talking. And I remembered back then. I don't remember the details of this dream right now. I don't think it's really important, but back then there were a few details of the dream that I remembered. I mean, it was just a mundane, not a very important phone call. It was just two people talking. I remember the next day I was talking to my parents, my mother. I think I told my mother first. I said, Mom, I said, I had this very weird dream about two people talking, over the phone or something. Anyway, about about a week or two later, I swear this is a week or two later, my parents get this phone bill. And the phone bill was back in the 1960s. It was like, I don't remember, $25, $50, $75, $100. I don't know. And the phone call on their bill came from Hawaii. Oh my God. My parents accused me of, there was just no other way. They just thought that I was responsible for this phone call. And I swore up and down that I didn't make the phone call. I wasn't talking. I tried to convince them, but they told me that I was talking about that 2 weeks earlier. Well, they fought it, and eventually they took away my parents didn't have to pay the whatever it was, $75 or $100 or whatever it was. Back then it was a lot of money. But the point of what I'm saying right now is that it reminds me of I've been looking on the internet and hearing these stories about Elon Musk and one of his companies getting involved with brain implants. And I know that these implants are basic. They're more for, I think, people that are disabled, to help people that are disabled. But I'm also thinking that maybe 50 or 100 years from now, or 200 years from now, they're going to be putting these implants into people's heads, and they're going to be, people are probably going to be able to access like vast amount of knowledge. But what this story, what I'm telling you, and what I truly believe this, maybe at some point there's going to be a contest between the people that have these implants, and there aren't going to probably be very many people in the world that can do this, but people that do not have the implants. And they're going to test these two groups. And you know what? People that don't have the implants are going to be able to do just as well, or probably even better than the people that have the implants. And what I'm saying is that if I, who wasn't trying back many years ago, had this thing happen, that I tapped into a phone call that people had, I also believe that it is absolutely possible for people to not me, but maybe there's 100 people in the world right now, maybe 1,000, maybe up to maybe 1,000,000 people. I don't know if there's that many people, but I do think that there are people developed enough to where they are able to, maybe you could call them a sage, whatever, but there are people in the world, I believe, that have the ability to tap into all kinds of things that we can't even imagine.
So what I want to point out to you on the first 6 line or 7 line, it says that which is peaceful is easy to manage. That which has no prior indication is easy to plan. That which is fragile is easy to distinguish. That which is small is easy to disperse. So in other words, everything that we see already, it starts from something. It starts from something hidden that we are not even aware. So Lao Tzu wants us to be aware of what is in the starting, not not during the process or to the end. This is sort of like what Shakyamuni Buddha said. He focused more on the cause than the result. Focus more on the cause than the result. Unlike the common people, we focus more on the result than the cause. So if you want, if you want to prevent some kind of illness, you don't want to take medicine when it happens. You want to take daily maintenance to your body. So this is what the first 7 lines is talking about. And on what is that? On this one here, I think probably you cannot see my cursor. In the middle, it says a nice story tower rises with a layer of soil. And I think we understand what Lao Tzu's analogy. And the next one, a journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. So this is a very common Tao wisdom. And if you will wonder, where does this come from? Well, it comes from 64, Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, a journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. Or some people translate as a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a baby step. So this is where it comes from. And let's go down to the bottom 4 lines. From on the last 4 from the bottom, the sage learns what others neglect to learn. So most people will want to learn something, and that something could be how to become rich, how to become more knowledgeable, how to be this and that. But the sage focus more on learning about our true self, learning about the essence, learning about spirituality. In other words, learning about how to meditate, how to keep ourselves calm, how to cure a disturbed heart. So this is what sage want to learn. You see how sage wanting to learn different than what other people want to learn. I mean, the common people. And the next one, the sage returns what the people have ruined. So this sentence is a little hard to understand. So I want to elaborate on this one. People, they make mistake. And then when we make mistake, we tend to want to escape from it, or we try to avoid it. But the sage will confront his mistake and will confront his own mistake and would like to face his mistake and then to build up himself from where he fall. So that's why on this sentence it says the sage returned to his origin, returned to his true self. But a lot of people, they just when they make a mistake, they just continue making mistake until they don't even know they make a mistake. But the sage is very good at being aware of himself. Hey, I make a mistake. Now I have to return to the center. Tao Te Ching, it's all about returning to the center, returning to our true self. So in this chapter 64, Lao Tzu teaches us that we don't look too far. We want to start. We want to focus in the initial start. Here in the middle, it says the common people handles affair, but often fail when they are on the verge of completion. So we understand what Lao Tzu mean, right? When people at the beginning, we usually like to start strong. For example, right now we just have this New Year. We are in February, and today is considered New Year. Last month is the Western New Year. So many people have a New Year resolution. Hey, I want to build up my physical body. I want to sign up gym. I want to do this and do that. So they have a good start, but towards the end, their free will just kind of die down. Their intentions start become weakened. So they usually cannot complete whatever they want to wish for. So Lao Tzu reminds us that even towards to the end, and even during the process, we want to continue to stay strong, to have that strong mind that you want to build up your physical body, you want to continue your practice, continue your cultivation. Yeah. So on the last two lines, Lao Tzu is referring to it is only when the superior or the governor, the king, the emperor does not live according to king's interest. The king's his interest must be based on the people, not his own interest. So when the king or the emperor want to set the rule or want to manage based on people's interests, then he will be living in a meaningful life. And he will also allow the people have meaningful life. So let's look at this. I have on the top, I have 3 brackets. On the third bracket, when people take death lightly, when people don't care about life anymore, it is because the superior, it is because the emperor tried to live in a luxurious life. In the old time, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, some emperor, they want to build the Great Wall. They want to build the palace just for themselves, just for the emperor and the emperor's porcupine. So they drive all the people, they drive all the young people, the young men to build all this palace, all this Great Wall. So people can no longer sustain their basic living. They no longer have shelter. They no longer have agricultural land because all the men went to work for the emperor. So nobody does farming anymore. So there's no food on the table. So if that happens, who cares about living? Nobody. They would rather commit suicide. 46. When the world has Tao, the horses are sent back to fertilize the land with their manure. When the world does not have Tao, the world horses are born in the borderland. There's no greater crime than greed. There's no greater disaster than discontent. There's no greater mistake than the desire for possession. Therefore, contentment is knowing sufficiency, which will always bring lasting contentment. Let me read the Chinese part. 天下有道，却走马以粪；天下无道，戎马生于郊。罪莫大于可欲，祸莫大于不知足，咎莫大于欲得。故知足之足，常足矣。So let's look in the first 3 line or 4 line. When the world has Tao, the horse are sent back to fertilize the land with their manure. So where is the horse supposed to be? The horse, in the old time, they are used to do the farmland, to plow the land. So the horse, and so that land is used for their it's used for their living ground, used for farming. But when there is a war or battle going on, the horse are sent to battle. And when if they have baby, they are also born in the borderland. They are not born in their home. They are being born in the war zone. So this is talking about, again, Lao Tzu is talking about politics, talking about how cruel are this emperor. They have so much greed, so much discontentment, and so much desire for possession. And it's considered a disaster. Lao Tzu classified this as a great crime, as a disaster, as a mistake. So how can we achieve peace? If we apply this one to our personal cultivation, what we want to do is we want to reduce our greed, reduce our discontentment, and reduce the desire for possession, because Lao Tzu considered this as a crime for spirituality, as a disaster for your practice on spirituality. And if you can take care of your greed, take care of your discontentment, take care of your desire, then you will have a life that will bring you lasting contentment. Thank you.
Naman, you want to go back to my slide 6?
Mark, has he sent up?
Oh yeah, go, yeah. Mark.
Oh, thank you. Just real quick, what I got from both your versions of 46, basically, is that me personally, if I don't have Tao with me, if my intentions aren't correct because I'm not okay, because I'm not feeling Tao or peaceful, that my energies are going to go towards negative things if I don't have Tao. And if I do have Tao, if everything's all good inside me, my spiritual side is talking to me, I'm in touch with it, then all my energies to all my actions will go towards better things. My horses will fertilize the land, and I won't
Exactly.
stockpile guns and get ready for the war. And essentially, that's 46 in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you can also translate this in a layman term. If you are with your true self, then you will be living in a meaningful life. if you are not living with your true self and you are living with your false self, then you will live in misery.
Perfect.
you.
Thank you.
To me, everything feeds off the Tao. The Tao is the first element in the before the universe existed. And I'm going to just read you something from chapter 25 from my loose version. It says this: before the occurrence of soul and entity, or you could say heaven and earth also, but before the occurrence of soul and entity, something without shape existed, motionless, silent, and completely whole, alone and lonely. It is immutable. So the first thing, Tao, in before the universe existed, before anything existed, was this onlyness. You could even say loneliness. I say loneliness because there was this need to I don't even know if I have a word for it exactly, to create, maybe we could say. And that's why in the circle there's this kind of line that all of a sudden there's one thing, and then there's two things, and then three, and then a multitude. So there was this need to create. And I think that's why Lao Tzu takes motherly love. You could also call it fatherly too, but he counts it as motherly love. That this loneliness, this onlyness created a second thing and then a third thing. Joanna, you want to say anything, or should we
Now
go
we can go on to the next one.
Okay. Anybody want to use their angelic voice for
Yeah,
chapter?
I can
Okay.
do.
Okay.
If the nation is small in size and number, even though the people could increase arms and troops 10 to 100 times over, they do not use them because the people value their lives. They do not stray far from home even though there are vehicles for travel. They are reluctant to use them even though they have weaponry. They don't display them. Instead of fighting, the people will return to the tying of knots and the oral traditions. They will have the satisfaction of wholesome food, well-made clothing, and pleasant dwellings. Even though two nations are within sight of each other, and you can hear the sounds of children and animals from both sides during their lives, the people don't cross over to the other side.
So chapter 80, Lao Tzu used a very funny example, which I really like, especially in the end, the last three sentences. Although they gazed in neighbor's village and hear the rooster crowing and the dogs barking, they will become old and die, yet they will not need to reciprocate with give or gossip about other side. So based on the text, if you know Chinese, the Chinese actually stay in the neighboring country. And we know that in the ancient China, there was little, like a very, very small country, very small country. So their country size is equivalent to, say, our county, like LA County becomes a country, or even a city is a country. So when it says a neighboring country, we can translate as a neighboring village. And they are living closely together with harmony. There's no disruption. People just enjoy their life. And even when, to the point that they do not need to reciprocate. And you say, why reciprocate? So reciprocate, it's about giving each other gift. You know, nowadays, if there's a special occasion, we need to give. If we don't give, it becomes impolite for us. Even on Facebook, if there's somebody's birthday, it's a courtesy to send somebody a birthday wishes. And if we don't send birthday wishes, our friend might get angry, right? Especially Valentine's Day is coming, and if you don't spend time with your Valentine will become angry. So Lao Tzu is talking about his ideal society is that when the major holiday comes, when the birthday comes, when any important event comes, people don't need to reciprocate. And this is how we achieve having a peaceful life with our neighboring, with our friends, with our family, with our neighboring village, and of course, the neighboring country too. And in the middle, Lao Tzu point out what kind of lifestyle he desire. Using the old way, doesn't even need to use language. Just then the people return to tying knots in rope. So can you imagine a world without using language? What is the language that we can use universally? A smile, maybe bowing, hug, all these are universal language. Or we should say it's bodily language, not language, not like specific language, like Russian, Japanese, Korean. If you speak to me Tagalog, I wouldn't know. If you speak to me Hindi, I cannot understand. But all this like facial expression, it's a form of language too. And Lao Tzu love it. Thank you.